This product is not a celebration of 30 years of Magic.
This, by far, is the biggest scam that has happened in Wizards of the Coast history.
You're going to spend $1,000 on four packs of Magic cards. You're not going to open a mox. You know, I guess I'll throw another $1,000 at it, sir. It should, come on. $999 sold to you directly via Wizards of the Coast. Fuck, it's fucking wild.
$30,000 for a fucking set? What the fuck?
And the price of this is, it's a travesty. It's mind-blowing. It is disrespectful.
It's the best game on the planet run by the worst, literal worst people.
Wizards just announced that for the 30 years of Magic anniversary, whatever, that they're just going to burn the company to the ground.
If there was ever a moment in time that you believed that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast is truly about the community, then I'm sorry, you're fucking stupid.
We have all this conversation about like, oh, if Wizards ever reprint the reserve list, people are going to sue. Well, they're doing it, so your move. What are you going to do about it?
A year from now, Magic 30th Anniversary Black Lotus reprint reserve list gold border cards is one of our highest selling products of all time. So we've decided to celebrate the first anniversary of the 30th anniversary of that product.
Sure.
It's just the beginning. The duels are the perfect example. They have found a way to monetize the reserved list without actually reprinting the reserved list. Don't you think they're gonna do this again?
People are panic selling Magic cards to the point where stores are refusing to buy them.
You are talking about flooding the market with less expensive versions of these cards. By the time this video comes out, I will have already unloaded a substantial portion of my raw reserve list inventory.
I'll tell you right now, it has not changed my opinion one bit.
I've been around the whole time for years and years. I was there in 2010 when people were flipping out about the Max Diamond. I was there. It was a thing, and it went away. And the collectors marched on, and the players marched on.
Hey YouTube, Mike the Alpha Hoarder here. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, video series I guess, I want to run some numbers. I want to look at current market data, and I want to try to answer this question that's been bouncing around on a million different channels. Should you hold the line, or should you sell? Now, before we get into that, my previous video on the Magic 30th anniversary talked about the ABU sets, and my opinion on those hasn't changed. I believe the really old vintage stuff is just inoculated against any sort of reprint shenanigans. I would add to that list things like the Judge foils or vintage foils. So check out that video if you haven't seen it. The link's in the description. This video is about reserved list dual lands and Silver and Bronze Age reserve list cards, which will be reprinted next in this style. Now, I really want to move on from 30th anniversary videos. It's been an interesting topic, but I'm sure everyone's kind of had enough at this point. So I was trying to wrap up all my thoughts in one video here, but I was jotting down the outline, and well, it's twice as long as anything else I've tried to schedule for a single video. So what I'm going to do is break this up into parts and just release them back to back. They're not standalone videos. This is one through line. I'm recording it in one go. But there are 4 points that I need to address, I think, to put this topic to rest for the time being. And those are, first, why was this product priced at $1,000, and why does that matter? Because it does. Second, how will the 30th set and the inevitable CE sets of the future, how will those impact the current prices and the current fundamentals? I want to talk about that. Part 3, what should you do with your reserved list cards? And finally, part 4, should you buy this product, and am I going to buy this product? So in this video, I'm going to address that first question. Okay. Pardon my voice. I am a little bit under the weather. It is a consequence of having little kids. It seems like somebody is always sick, and then it inevitably spreads through the family. So, excuse that if you could. Okay, so the price tag is one of the biggest points of controversy on this anniversary set. But after looking at the situation, After looking at the situation, I don't believe this price is a mistake at all from Wizards' point of view. Nor do I think it's a test, to see how the market reacts. I believe that the pricing is very deliberate, and it can tell us something about what we might see in future sets like this. So, firstly, the product itself is designed for Commander players. Not collectors. Let's clear that up. It's a little bit obvious when you look at the changes that they've made to the set. Another beautiful jump for the Horde. First of all, they've changed the rarity on 11 cards. The 10 dual lands and Soul Ring. I'm not a player, but it doesn't take a genius, I think, to know who cares more about getting access to Soul Rings and to dual lands. And that's going to be Commander players, not collectors. Next, of course, they've removed Contract from Below and all these other cards that refer to ante. Well, if you're a collector, you are going to be interested in collecting the cards. If you're a player, well, ante's not part of the game anymore. So, once again, the reason for removing anything that refers to ante is because these are intended ultimately for players. And then, of course, it's packaged into randomized packs. That's not something collectors would want. So, by every indication, Wizards is thinking of the player market, not the collector market. Beautiful Earthbind. Friggin' Rudy makes a video about this card talking about how expensive it's going to be. It's certainly not priced on par with Lightning Bolt. I don't know why he was saying that. Maybe he's trying to get it there, but there were 2 copies I was looking to grab, and now I see prices moving a bit, so I guess I'm going to wait on that one. Maybe you should wait too. But anyway, so yeah, this product is not for collectors. It is made for players, and since they expect the players to buy the singles for play, they are pricing it in order to extract the maximum possible equity out of these cards that they can't normally reprint. But they have reprinted here. And why does that matter? Because it means that what everyone else has guessed is true. They're going to keep doing this. This isn't some collectible origin story, right? This isn't really the celebration of the 30th, and then, they'll do it again in 30 years. If this was a collector product, then that narrative would make sense. 30 years is a collectible milestone. You could sell that story. It's clearly targeted at players. 30 years doesn't matter. What matters is they're trying to get into that market. And so this will be a recurring product, and they can roll it right across all of the untapped equity in the secondary market, most of which is coming from players. They're not going to be able to tap into the equity of an alpha card. This, I said it in my other video on this subject, these are historical. These are primarily collectible. The stuff that Wizards is trying to stomp on is the playable stuff. So let's just talk about equity for a minute. I'm sure most of you know what we all mean when we say that. But the reason that some sets come out and are more expensive than others is because they contain cards that haven't been reprinted in a while. And in that interim, if the card is demanded by players, and it's scarce, the secondary market will move it up in value. It will accrue value. It will increase equity. And this is due to player demand. Wizards knows this. Wizards knows this. And they know that if they can bring a new print to market that is any lower than the price of existing copies, some of the demand that is currently served by the secondary market will instead move back to Wizards. And, it's a little more complicated than that because they sell randomized booster packs. Not specific singles, but that's the idea. That's how they calculate it. It is a carefully regulated game that they're playing. And they always price sets according to the equity content. And they schedule reprints. They'll allow equity to accumulate over here while they're busy reprinting over here. It's like, a tree farm. Right? I mean, you might have this patch of the farm is trees you're selling this year. But you better have another patch over here that you expect to be mature for next year. And another patch, over there that'll be ready for the following year. Etc. Okay, this is actually from a channel viewer. MTG TV. This guy's got his own channel that I check out from time to time. Click over there and give him a shout. I'll put his link in the description too. All right, Mike. I hope you appreciate this wonderful card as much as I have over the years. I included a bonus card of mine that I'm doing experimental buyout on from the dark. That's reserved list. Cool. Not much game utility, but the art is fun. Reminds you of the kid. I can relate to that. This is actually how I tend to choose my buyouts. More to do with what I could relate to than actual value. Alrighty, yeah, I will definitely give the cards a good home. Again, MTG TV, a friend of the channel, I hope I can say. And let's see what he sent my way. Black Knight. I love this card. Ooh, and Tree Folk. So this must be the card he's going after. Oh yeah, that's great art. I love that card. Hey, awesome, man. I hope you got a nice position. That's a fun one. Okay, so I was saying this is a game that Wizards plays, and they're expert at it. But when it comes to reserve list cards, they are just blocked out. Only the secondary market gets to tap into that equity. And that equity is just free to accumulate. So for non-reserved cards, Wizards comes along on their schedule, and they'll do reprints in a calculated manner, as I said. And those reprints will suppress the prices, but they've got other cards they can move on to. Cards on the reserve list, say Black Lotus, for instance. The last time that was printed was in 1994 in the Unlimited set. That card has 29 years worth of equity behind it. So that brings us to the 30th set again. Why did they price this thing at $1,000? Oh, very nice card. Very, very nice. Thanks, MTG TV. I see you took good care of this guy, and I will too now. Beautiful. Awesome condition. Love it. Why did they price this thing at $1,000? Because they would have been absolute idiots not to. There's no other way to put it. Suppose they'd priced this box at $100. That's the inflation-adjusted price of the original collector's edition. No card in the set would be worth more than the box in its entirety, so now people can get the Black Lotus for $100. Well, the collector's edition Black Lotus has $5,000 of equity in it. In other words, if the 30th collector's edition version of Black Lotus came out and situated itself in the market at $4,000, say, that would make it the cheapest Black Lotus officially printed by Wizards of the Coast. And therefore, people would pay for it. So why the would they plan to sell something for $100 when they could sell the exact same thing for $4,000? Again, I'm simplifying. They're selling it in randomized packs, not directly as cards, but this is, I guarantee this is directly in the EV calculations that they're making. And it's important to notice because it tells us what to expect in the future reprint sets, of which I am sure there will be several. In my previous video, I actually did an EV calculation on a 30th pack using collector's edition prices. Now my math actually wasn't quite right on the pull rates, but it was off by, it was close enough to accurately show that the EV at CE prices wasn't too far off from break even. Now, as I said there, I'll repeat here, that's not to say people should buy this and expect to be able to break the box and flip the singles at a profit. I don't happen to think that that's the case. But my point was that the price of this product is not an accident. Wizards clearly ran the calculations to figure out how to maximize the perceived equity. And they did that by basing it on the collector's edition ceiling, and then they priced it accordingly. In other words, this price tag is exactly what you should expect from a greedy corporation, and they would never be incentivized to do otherwise. That has nothing to do with respect for the player base or respect for the game or the collectors. It doesn't have to do with a non-selfish concern about the secondary market. None of that. This doesn't rely on any promises. I can confidently say that destroying the secondary market would be suicide for Wizards, and they know it. It would be a throw in the towel event. Milk the cow one last time before shooting it in the yard. You probably saw the business card go by, ABU Games. If you haven't noticed, take a look at their listings on eBay and their site. They were dried out on Alpha cards not that long ago, but they must have bought a collection or two. They've got tons, a lot of them in, near mint condition. So, if you're looking, just saying. But anyway, if Wizards blew up the secondary market, what they would be blowing up is all of the equity that they're trying to get to. It would mean no card equity anymore. And they could never do this again in any form. And that runs directly contrary to their own selfish interest, which is why I don't think they would let that happen. So what I draw from that is that this 30th set and all future collector's sets will likewise be designed to maximize the equity that they can extract from the secondary market. And to maximize the equity, you want to price it to compete as close to parity as possible with the existing cards on the market. Now, at least at release, and they optimize this by randomizing the packs and so forth, rather than selling complete sets. So I'm expecting they'll stick with that. Which is not to say, by the way, that the singles will hold the value of CE cards. As to that, I have no idea. It will sort of depend on the market acceptance, the demand, the quantity that come to market. But I do think that that's their intention, at least at release. They want initially the cards to land around there. And that's what you'd expect from a purely selfish, profit-driven company that was not being short-sighted. And, say what you want of them. I don't know that they are being short-sighted. I think they've given this a lot more thought than we have. We're all seeing this and reacting to it within the first week or two. They've probably had meetings about this for the last 18 months. And I'm sure that they've thought this through. They've run the numbers. I suspect they're fairly confident that this will not only work, but be repeatable. And that's predicated on not destroying the secondary market. So, you know, the better job that they've done in these calculations, the greater that they've managed to suck up available equity, the better it will be for the secondary market. And I believe we'll see the same pattern going forward. Their goal will be to undercut the real cards by as little as possible, which will reduce the impact by as much as possible. Happens to serve their own self-interest. This is one thing that the secondary market and us MTG finance types have in common with Hasbro. Cool, nice set of cards here. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to cover. The price was not an accident. The price was designed with the current state of the secondary market in mind and with the hope of not damaging it wider than they have to, so that they can rerun this experiment. However, it is still going to impact the price of the market. It has to. But the real question is how much, and can we put numbers to it? I haven't seen anyone put any numbers to it yet. It's all sort of guesswork and hand waving, and, you know, which isn't to say the numbers I have are necessarily correct. But I did look at piles of data the last few days, and in part 2, I'm going to really get to the meat of it. So I'm going to jump into that right now. I'm going to post it around the same time as this one so that you can keep following along if you have the patience. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks for watching today's video. You can help spread the channel by writing Alpha Hoarder on all of your Magic cards, and then give them away to your friends. See you next time.